Welcome to the Nameless blog, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very special Nameless blog. We are here at night one of WrestleMania. It's
Yeah.
your host, Kyle Berkeley, aka KB, Trap God with a dad bod. And I got a very special host, a very dear friend of mine, one that only can introduce himself and me like none other. Ladies,
What is going on, Mr. Dr. Kyle? It is me, the SOB. No, I'm just kidding. I am Michael Ellis. How you doing, buddy?
what's going on? What's going on? Let's talk about what we just saw. And
Yeah,
by what we just saw, ladies and gentlemen, we just saw WrestleMania XL,
yeah.
WrestleMania 40. If you've been like me and Michael, we've seen WrestleMania, all of them. We've seen all of the Starcades. I can't talk too much about TNA, but we've seen all of that.
Yeah, TNA is just a thing that happens. I don't know if anybody actually watches it.
I
And
did that one time. I enjoyed the main event Mafia with them. And it was some cool stuff. It was some, but like it didn't have consistency. I think that's the part that killed them. Like they would have something like the whole Samoa Joe thing, and when Samoa Joe had the undefeated streak and he had
yeah,
the belt and Kurt Angle came, like, but then it's like it was some real inconsistent things. I think that's what killed TNA. It was like they
sure.
didn't
Yeah,
find anything consistent. Like you have AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Chris Daniels,
yeah,
and you know what I mean. Like you have pieces there. Like, dude,
yeah,
you have a face and you have a heel for the company for
yeah,
decades, and you had Abyss. You had the most interesting character because of his makeup, his build. You know what I mean?
yeah.
As his the intro music, you had that, and you like, yeah.
You know, and Sting did some interesting work when he was in TNA.
Yes, but
Yeah,
that again, this is what we talk about inconsistencies because you bring
yeah,
in Sting, so now you bring back this feeling of WCW. Well, what happens to Jeff Jarrett? You know what I'm saying? Because you spent a lot of time making Jarrett technically the face of the company,
yeah.
but building AJ up like, okay, we know AJ is going to be the heir apparent, and he
Yeah,
was.
he
But
was.
it's
Yeah.
just weird. But like, yeah, Sting had a great run. I feel like Booker had some cool stuff. I loved him on commentary when he was doing the Black Snow angle. That was cool. Um, yeah, there were some cool people that came and went through there. Of
Yeah.
course, we had beer
Yeah,
money.
Christian had a good time when he was there. Christian Cage or
Yep.
Christian, either way. Um, he was good.
Killings,
And there
Ron
was a bunch of
Killings.
people like I'm trying to like there was a team America's Most Wanted, the tag team. They were really good.
hmm
Um,
Motor City Machine Guns.
yep. I mean, so they actually did have some fairly talented and still do
hmm
have some really talented stars. I've always hoped that they might be able to make it to like whatever the next level is, but they just haven't. They just they've been. I mean, they've been able to sustain in some way, shape, or form because they're still around,
Yeah.
but they just have not ever been able to kind of cross over into that next. I mean, I think even Ring of Honor may have surpassed them by now.
Yeah, I believe that a while back actually,
Yeah, yeah,
and this is I think when I was having my love hate relationship with TNA turned into more hate was around that time. It was like,
yeah,
it's like yeah, when they brought in Hulk Hogan and did the whole immortal angle, I was just like, dude, you guys really have lost the direction you were headed in. And
yeah. They
it's
just were
sad.
becoming like a place for everybody who missed WCW to go.
Yeah,
And that's not even like I mean, because like Mike Tenay was the play-by-play guy, which was good. I,
that was a
I
good
actually
song.
think he's one of the he was always one of the most unsung commentators. I always thought he was good at WCW, and I liked what he did in TNA.
Dude, if you go back and watch some classic WCW
Yeah,
pay-per-views and stuff, and you
yeah,
see how bad they were booked and like how many botches, look at Mike Tenay's professionalism and how he handled and called things like it was perfect.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like when
yeah,
some things were so egregious, he like had to point it out, but it was funny, and you would think it's like not kayfabe, but it's like, all right, this is a part of the show. Actually, this is probably just funny booking. Like it was. Mike Tenay's a real professional. He's a
yeah,
real professional.
yeah, yeah. And he started doing. Last I heard, he was in Vegas. He was doing like a gambling podcast or something like that. I don't
Really?
know. Well, speaking of announcers, though, let's get to talking about WrestleMania. Let's start with the booth, the announce booth. Now, are you a two-man booth guy, or do you like the three-man booth?
So I like that you started with this because I did see when you posted it on Facebook.
Yep, yep,
You're right about it. So so all right, I fell in love with wrestling in the '80s. For a period of time, I lived with my grandparents in South Carolina, and wrestling is huge down in my hometown, South Carolina.
right.
Well, where my grandparents and a lot of my other family live.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I'm Baltimore born and bred, but
Yeah.
so I got my bones in the '80s, with wrestling with was WCC, it was WCW. Then you had some these like local wrestling promotions, like Georgia had their promotion, and yeah, all these like
Yeah, Mid Atlantic. You had Florida Championship Wrestling.
I didn't get to see
You
a lot
had
of
Jim
wrestling.
Crockett.
So Jim Crockett was kind of blended with WCW on the broadcast
Mhm.
that we would see down there.
Yeah,
But what was cool was I grew up always on the two-person announce teams. Like,
right.
you'll have a Freebird on there calling some of the matches.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
it was
Giovanni. I mean,
cool.
yeah, if you grew up watching World Championship Wrestling, the Saturday night program,
Yeah,
for Jim Crockett Promotions, and you grew up watching Tony Schiavone
yep,
and
yeah,
David Crockett.
and that's what we
Yeah.
got.
And they
So
were great. They were wonderful. And then you got Jim Ross coming in there towards like 87. Um
so this is where my love for announcing came, believe it or not. And I heard Jim Ross's voice for the first time, and
yeah.
all right, I'm gonna put this out there. I love Jim Ross, the announcer, and what he brought to the table. Recently,
Yes.
I learned some things about him personally, about how he feels about a lot of my people that created a lot of hate for
Oh,
him.
interesting.
Yes, we'll talk about it offline because I'm not going to trash that man's
Sure.
professional.
Gotcha.
But his voice drew me in on wrestling in a way I can't describe. Like,
Yeah.
it's like he knew his stuff. It's like he wrote the match himself, and it was
Yep.
like, I'm going to narrate this story. And
Yep.
from
Yep.
little young Kyle living in South Carolina, watching TV on my grandfather's couch while he's putting his tobacco in his pipe, I was like, I like this. I like
Uh-huh.
this a lot,
Yeah. 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 And then like I mean I grew up watching WWF Monday night primetime wrestling every night back in the 80s. Watch all American wrestling. I'd watch the syndicated shows. I'd watch Superstars. I'd watch Challenge. Occasionally we would get the pay-per-views. Didn't always order the pay-per-views, but I mean I watched a few of them here and there. So Gorilla Monsoon
Yeah.
was my introduction to what a wrestling play-by-play guy is supposed to sound like. He's wonderful. Technically,
And
he was
Ventura.
horrible, but he just I loved listening to him.
Oh, when he would do his oh wows, all of his oh wows.
The way he would misuse the word literally.
But
I remember one time he said like this crowd is literally hanging from the rafters. No, they're not.
God, I miss. So, all right. So that brings me to my love for Monday Night Raw was
Yeah,
him called, and I think he was a GM for a period of time for
he
Monday Night.
was. Yeah,
And it was weird because it was like there was no storyline behind it. It was like, okay, I'm calling a match, and then next week I'm coming out as GM. Like, what? What is happening?
yeah. They didn't really announce like because Tunney. So the the president of the WWF was it's always they've always had an on-screen authority figure, and that's what the president of the WWF was. When I was growing up, it was Jack Tunney, who was a I know nothing of Jack Tunney as a kid. As I've grown up, he is a wrestling royalty.
Yeah,
He was helping to the Tunney brothers were running out of Toronto a wrestling organization with the Rougeau family.
that's impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it was part of, Vince's world global domination. He kind of he gave a lot of the people in Toronto jobs. That's when the Rougeaus came down. That's when Dino Bravo came down. Frenchie Martin came down at that point. And Tunney, they gave him basically, just this authority figure job. Give you a payday. If you will basically let the WWF absolve all of your assets into our federation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, mind you, Vince was a brilliant, brilliant businessman.
he was
Uh,
shrewd. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
he had a vision. Like the dude had a vision, and I think me being a business, so I'm a business owner, right?
sure.
And it's scary being somebody like myself because I've noticed a lot of businesses like that have a similar company like mine. Like they'll just be all right. This is the goal right here. But for me, it's like I see this is the start of, but there's a whole bigger thing at play that I'm putting together.
Mhm.
Like there's a whole production. Like I'm not like, yeah, this is where I'm starting at with ground level because I want you to get from
Yeah,
this. I'm gonna reach up. When I hear you break down Vince and how Vince did everything with the Tunnies, it's like he wasn't like, okay, Georgia, Georgia Championship Wrestling. He wasn't like, all right, I'm just doing this FCW. And like I remember there was some West Coast productions that we never even saw growing up.
yeah,
Like, we always heard about through legend, like, you go to the comic book shop and somebody or you were at the grocery store and you're in the comic book section. So like, hey, you watch wrestling, you hear about this thing over there? Like, huh? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so we ain't talk about that, but Vince knew, okay, I'm gonna buy out these other companies,
yeah,
absorb some, get their best talent and sometimes their worst washout talent, put them on TV. And I'm really not trying to do a Vincent Man voice. And I'm put them on TV and I'm gonna really make this into a spectacle
yeah.
because they're oh my gosh, NWA at one point in time used to come on. It wasn't ESPN back then. It was this station that would play nothing but sports in the South. And
Okay.
um, after a certain point in time, you could, I think it was in the morning after like the cartoons, they
Uh-huh.
could show NWA matches. And back in the day, one of the rules for NWA was you couldn't go over the top rope or else it
Yeah,
was automatic disqualification. Yeah, so it was that used to come on also. And it's like it's crazy how Vince, like that production that you would see of NWA versus the production that you would see on Saturday morning with Vince McMahon
yeah.
out and he's behind and then he's over there behind with the two other announcers
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
or yeah, I forget who else. And he's like, yeah, wow, and all this kind and like, it was like, dude, this is drawing me in. Like this is
It's next
amazing.
level. I mean, I actually thought for years I'd watch the syndicated shows every week, Challenge and Superstars. I thought that the announcers were right there in the arena,
Yeah.
like they are on Raw and Nitro and all that shit. They're not. They're Whenever you see the announcers on the TV on Superstars, they would
Mhm.
be in front of a green screen. And then they're just in a studio. They're in the TV studio that's there in Stanford,
Oh,
and they're
nice.
doing voiceovers. That's it.
Huh. I never knew that.
You never knew that? Yeah.
Never knew that.
It's all smoke and mirrors, man. It's all magic. It's
Oh, yeah, it's all magic, man.
it's great. You
And,
know.
and speaking of magic, let's talk about a magical night.
Oh, let's get
WrestleMania
into this, man.
at
Yeah, let's talk about WrestleMania 40 night one.
Ooh, th- all right. This was a very solid card. It was only two matches that I would that didn't really make me feel good.
Yeah.
And let's talk. Go ahead, and jump into the first match of the night because Rhea Ripley. Oh my gosh, that tore down. That was just a tone setter.
Yeah. It was a great match to start out with. Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch. Um,
They did not hold back.
no, they didn't. Big fan of both ladies. They're
Mhm.
both tremendous. They both have an aura about them. They're both really locked into how they present themselves on camera and in the ring. They both obviously know what they're doing. and it shows. It was a great match from start to finish, and I wasn't really sure who was going to win.
Yeah, I mean, I rooted for Rhea, but I'm a Rhea fan. Like since
Sure,
the
yeah,
whole Judgment Day thing, it was like it's like this lightning in a bottle Rhea Ripley has.
yeah. I haven't seen a woman as dominating as Rhea since probably China.
And her moves. But see, here's the difference between Rhea and China to me.
Yeah,
Rhea's she's not stiff. Whenever I
true.
watch China, it was like very stiff watching. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to trash China's legacy and
No,
nothing
no,
like that
no.
because I was a huge China fan.
Yeah,
But
we all love Joni. Yeah, I mean, but yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
there was a certain stiffness,
China had her strengths and her weaknesses.
yeah,
She was
but
good
like
in
her
the
moves were
ring.
never fluid. With Rhea,
Yeah, her moves were
it's
never
like
fluid. She was
fluid.
horrible on the mic.
Hmm.
She had no mic skills whatsoever. Rhea doesn't have any of those issues.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like Rhea Ripley is probably China 2.0, but like better.
Yeah, yeah,
Actually, you know what? I want to tell you this. So when I was over, remember I messaged you. I was like, I'm gonna wash dishes first before we hop on, right?
sure.
So I was like, on washing dishes, it hit me. I go, hmm. I would dare to say Rhea Ripley's rise is almost close to Triple H's.
Hmm.
Like as far as professionals today that you could compare to like a past generation. If you look at Triple H's whole ride to who he became,
Hmm.
you know, I would kind of go, Rhea Ripley's ride was oddly close. Like, and then once she got to the main event, like the world title phase is like, I'm here, I belong here. You can't take this away
Yeah, yeah,
from me. Like
yeah.
I'm not gonna give
I
this up.
am definitely looking forward to the inevitable match that we're going to get between Rhea and Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. It probably happen within the next year. You
I
know,
would I want them to bank that hopefully if Jay's career goes how I want it to go, that's gonna be a WrestleMania match.
that'd be great. I
I
would love for them to milk it for a while.
Yeah, keep
And
the
that's one
title
of the
on
things that
Rhea.
the WWE has always been really good at, and a place like AEW just hasn't really done as well, is that they can tell a story for, I mean, the Cody story has been going for 2 years. The Roman Reigns story, like, just
What,
think about
what,
like
5
when he
years?
became the tribal chief. It's been 4 years
Yeah,
almost. It's getting on to 4 years. It's so good. Like,
I
and
don't want it
they,
to stop. To be honest, like, like
well, I think it will. I mean,
yeah, but I don't want it to stop yet. Like I feel like
you're not ready for Roman to be done.
I feel like there's more to the story that you could do. I feel like you could do so much more. I think back to like think about the NWO. This and
Sure.
I always love if I think about an Uber faction, the NWO is that. The
Yeah.
NWO had to get so strong
Hmm.
that the actual company had to not the literal, but in storyline, the
Yeah.
actual company had to fight against. Therefore, when the champion won, Sting, it was like everybody had to rally behind and go, "Oh my God, we're everybody's celebrating that."
And
Like
I'm trying to think, when did Hogan lose to Sting? So
it
because
was
NWO
it was like
started
a
in
botch that
'95,
happened. It
right?
was a botch that happened at Starcade, and I think it was the next night he actually lost, or it's the other way around. It was I remember there was like a botch, so they had to redo it.
Huh. And I'm thinking it was like 2 years, right? It was like '97.
Sting, I think Hogan
Sting beating
lost to
Hogan.
Sting. Yeah, that was Starcade in '97.
Okay. So that's a good 2 year run. And when you look at Roman Reigns, again, like he's been doing the bloodline thing since late 2020. He's been the champion since about that time. It's to me, it seems like, well, I mean, and Roman Reigns' story and the bloodline story, even if Cody wins, is by no means finished.
Right. because you still have the whole rock of it all. And
Yeah, yeah. You've got
I
Dwayne
told you
and
this in the message.
Roman, and I think that there's something definitely brewing there. They'd be dumb not to do it,
Yeah,
and I
and you
think that
have the
Dwayne's
set
going to
piece
play
right now.
spoiler.
You have the set piece right now. Remember?
Yeah,
So I wrote you on social media, and I was like, dude, look at how Roman is looking at that belt Rock has.
yeah. The People's Championship
Yeah,
belt. Yeah,
there's your story and set pieces right there. You have like if I'm going to use a comic book term or a movie term, your MacGuffin is right there.
yeah. There you
That
go.
so the world title isn't even. I dare to say at this point because of how Roman's focused on that belt that Rock has, that world belt that Roman's been holding all this time has lost its value to Roman. There's something else that's shiny that Roman wants. That's the story.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what do you think was the weakest match of the night?
There were two,
Which
but
ones? I wonder if they're the same ones that I think.
the one that I really disliked the most was Uso versus Uso. Like
Really,
I,
I liked that match.
I didn't like it. For some reason, I really thought they could have gave me an Owen Hart Bret Hart type match. I really
Yeah,
thought they could. And by the time they did the pleading thing, and I think that part lasted too long. I think that's probably it. It was too many rust in the match, and it wasn't as fluid as I thought it was going to be.
yeah, and I don't think anybody other than kayfabe J bought Jimmy's pleading and saying, oh, "I'm sorry for it all." Like
Right.
I
That's what I
knew
said.
right
It
away.
went too long.
I knew. Well, I could tell just the way that they were setting it up. That is no, this is not. He's gonna turn his back again. He's setting Jay up for a cross, yeah, a double cross. So yeah, they kind of telegraphed that. I liked the match. I think that they work really good together, whether as a tag team or as opponents. The two matches that I thought were the worst was a tag team match, which was just a mess.
Which one?
The tag team championship match
Oh,
with the
the
ladder.
ladder. Oh God.
That was just too much,
I, uh,
so much going on, and you couldn't really focus on any of it.
you know what? Actually, I kind of you did. Do you remember in the '90s
Mm.
the very first TLC match?
Sure.
Do you remember how chaotic and how the cameras couldn't really
Oh,
follow?
sure, yeah. And that
That's
was Hardy's versus Edge and
our,
Christian versus
our
Devon
and
and Bubba
and
Ray, right?
yeah,
That was Dudley's, Hardy's, and Edge and Christian, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for me watching that, it gave me that vibe again, especially when I saw the tables come out. So like I
Yeah.
appreciated it. So it's like I don't think that one was the worst match.
I liked it. I liked it, but you had six teams, not just three teams. You had six
It was a
teams.
lot,
There was a whole bunch going on.
and
And
it
if you're
gave
going to
me
have
what I
that
wanted.
many people, maybe you should have done a War Games kind of thing where you have the two rings.
No,
You know,
but see, you had to break up the titles, and that was the thing. You had to break up the titles.
yeah, that's what they want. They
Like,
wanted to get rid of the undisputedness of the titles. They wanted to break it up.
yeah,
I'm not okay. Waller and Austin Theory, I get.
I actually like them as a tag team.
I yeah,
I really dig it. I kind of hope that they go at some weird college stupid jock kind of angle with them too, because they're both so goofy.
our Truth and Miz.
I'm
eh,
so happy for Ron Killings. I've been a huge. This is how long I've been a fan of Ron Killings. When DX, when New Age Outlaws had broke up, I
Yep.
think they both got drafted to different shows or whatever,
Uh-huh. Yep.
and Ron Killings came out with Road Dogg.
Yeah, K
I,
Quick. He was
I,
calling himself
I
K Quick.
Yep, I became an instant fan of Ron Killings, and I
I
was like,
love Ron Killings.
yeah, so I followed him in TNA, and
Mhm.
like I love Ron Killings, so I'm so
I love our Truth. I like Ron Killings a lot. I don't like this angle that they're doing with him. They haven't fully explained it. Like why is he losing his mind all of a sudden?
that's the
Why does he
art.
think he's the Rock? Why does he think he's in the Judgment Day? Why does
But
like
see,
there's
that's the beauty of him and his character. It's like there's no rhyme or reason. You just know he's just a treasure. It's like he's like a cool combined. Like,
yeah,
okay, we
yeah,
get it. It's like we love it. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
you don't even need an explanation. It's like, yo, there you go, being him again.
sure, yeah,
Think
yeah.
about all the times he's come out like thinking that he's in a match, and it's like, yeah, he's not even in the match. You know, like I think it was a ladder match. It was a ladder match. I think no, it was a Money in the Bank ladder match.
Well, there was a ladder match. I mean, the ladder match tonight. Like he actually
Well,
thought he got a pin on
oh
somebody,
yeah, and he wanted to get tagged in and everything. Yeah, so it's like,
telling
dude,
Finn to like
national treasure.
do the sweet chin music. Or no, it wasn't Finn. It was I think it was Champa. I think it was Tommaso Ciampa, and that's who I thought should have won. I thought the DIY was due, and I was a little surprised that they went with Ron and the Miz. I mean, number one, I can't stand the Miz. I hate him. He's so yeah. I just can't stand him.
As a true wrestling fan, I have never liked the Miz.
Yeah,
I like Miz's determination to be the best version of himself that he can
sure.
be. I love his dedication to the art of wrestling.
Yeah,
But I don't know, it's just something about him in the ring. It just wasn't it. Like even when was it Miz and Morrison at one point in time?
yeah, yeah,
It was something stiff about Miz. I don't know what it is.
yeah,
But
yeah,
but it's like I want him to succeed because I think he really gives a lot. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. But I like Gargano. I like Champa. I'm really glad that they're on the main brand now. They're not on NXT. They deserve it. And I know that their time is going to come. It's very possible that they see Ciampa as more of a singles guy. I don't
Mhm.
know that Johnny Gargano is going to be all that good as a singles guy. I think Gargano definitely excels more as a tag guy. But I was really surprised that they didn't go with DIY to win at least one of the sets of belts. But yeah, it is what it is. It was an interesting match. I just thought it was a little bit too busy.
Oh, you know what? At Michael Cole said it twice when R-Truth was coming out, and then when they wrestled, that R-Truth has never won a match in WrestleMania. So it was
That's
like
true. So that
it
could have
was a
been
dead
yeah,
giveaway.
and
It was a dead giveaway.
yeah, yeah. So there you go. He gets his flowers, and I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. He's in his 50s.
Yeah,
He's
we
been
know he's never
around.
gonna get a world belt, which is sad because I think he should have got one when he was a heel. But
Yeah, yeah.
like
But he's got a belt. He's got a win at WrestleMania. He's got a belt. I don't see him keeping it on them for very long. They're probably going to be a transition champion. But hey, it was an interesting match, and in the end they got their flowers, so that's pretty cool.
yeah,
Other match that I thought was pretty weak was the 8-woman tag, and I like a lot of the people that are
that was
involved
the
in that.
that was the one. That was the one.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah,
one. I was
I
like,
like a
"Ooh."
lot of the wrestlers who are involved in that. I love Bianca. Bianca does not need to be in a match like that, though. She should be in a singles match in WrestleMania.
I think it was like they wanted to do like an empowerment type thing, which is fine. I have no
Yeah,
problem with it. I have no problem with it.
yeah, yeah.
But I
But
thought the match
hey,
was kind of weak. But did think that Jade Cargill performed very
oh
high.
yeah,
I do have another a thought about it though. I feel like they're giving Jade Cargill the treatment Karma should receive when Awesome Kong went to the WWE.
yeah, yeah,
And I noticed even with the move set, she did Karma's move and everything. And I was wondering, I feel like WWE is going to try to fix fix their past problem that they like how they missed the mark with Karma with Jade Cargill. And I'm really happy about that.
yeah. I'm really excited to see how they're setting her up. They're setting her up strong, that's for sure. But she hasn't had a singles match yet, has she?
No,
Has she had one on the weekly shows? Because I don't watch Raw and SmackDown every week.
I really I because of my schedule being so busy, I don't have time to watch every Raw and SmackDown. I don't think she has had a match on either
Okay.
brand.
So it's her second match then. First match was the Royal Rumble. And then she's got this big 8-man tag. So I mean, hopefully they're setting her up for maybe King of the Ring to actually have a singles match.
Yeah.
I really would like to see Jade and Bianca just fucking go. I just think that would be a tremendous match.
I think they're going to get there soon. Like
Yeah,
even if you look at how they went move for move, muscle for muscle in the Royal Rumble,
yeah,
they're going to go there eventually.
yeah, yeah. So you gotta have some sort of a personal agenda between those two.
Yeah.
Some sort of a falling out, and then you set up a really good match, maybe for King of the Ring, maybe for SummerSlam.
Did you watch the press conference?
No, actually, I came in to do this with you. I've got it out there. I just paused it.
The reason I was saying it because during the press conference they was just letting them just talk, right? And it was like it was funny because it was Naomi, Bianca, and Jade, and like they're just talking. It was like excessive amounts of talking, and it was like normally in those scrums, it's never like dialogue between the people like that. It was like,
Yeah,
wait a minute, is this like an angle? I feel like this is an angle where you're going to try to build like a clip, and then eventually they're gonna haven't fallen out. And I was like, I'm here for it because I like it.
yeah,
We're gonna make it like this fun friendship that they have before the breakout.
heck
I'm
yeah,
here for it.
heck yeah. You gotta spend some time in that though. They've got to be a team for like 6 months at least,
Yeah,
probably, which puts them right about SummerSlam for a good match.
SummerSlam for a good match. The Rock versus
Bianca,
Roman.
Jade, SummerSlam.
Yeah,
Big falling out, right? Sometime in July.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. Because I was thinking SummerSlam, Rock versus Roman Reigns for the People's Championship because
oh,
Roman Reigns
that
won't
too.
have his belt, but he doesn't want his belt. He wants that belt.
Well, maybe, yeah. I mean, I definitely think that we're gonna see Rock and Roman.
Be-
What are we? Oh, we haven't talked about Sammy and Gunther. That
I didn't like.
you
Go
didn't
ahead.
like the match?
No, no, no. I love the match, but I'm gonna let you finish because I did not like the finish.
I thought the finish was good. I'm interested to see what you didn't like about it. I'll tell you why I liked it. Let me go through the match.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, Gunther, he's classic.
Hmm.
He is he is Nikita Koloff. He is the Iron Sheik. He is the monster heel. He's he's a better athlete than you.
He's the
He's got an
proudest athlete.
attitude about it. He will beat you and he will make you feel like an asshole while he doesn't. He's perfect. He has been perfectly set up.
Hmm.
He his Intercontinental Championship reign
Hmm.
beat the Honky Tonk
Yes,
Man's reign. Nobody ever beat that reign before. And now all of a sudden, boom, now Gunther is like the most dominant intercontinental champion of all time.
and he
I
doesn't need outside help.
was that?
And he doesn't need outside help.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't.
No,
He's got Imperium, but he doesn't need them.
he doesn't need them. He's that good.
He's amazing.
But
Now,
it's scary because you have a heel that is more than a heel. He doesn't have to do heel tactics. He's going to
yeah,
beat you
yeah, yeah,
legally and fairly and decisively.
yeah, yeah.
It's the
Now, I'll
perfect
tell you
heel.
why I like the match and why I like the ending. Right. So the whole match was set up to tell the story about Sammy fighting from underneath,
Hmm.
knowing that what he's going into is a completely, you know, out of his league. He should not be competitive.
Hmm.
And it's just the classic David and Goliath story.
All those
It
things
was
are
a
true.
great ending. And Sammy looked really, really strong in the ending. Two haluva kicks. What was the move that he set up before he did the two haluva kicks?
Oh,
Though he did,
it was that driver. Oh, that was a sick move. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. And then the two haluva kicks, and then just a great slow championship cover, as Steve Austin would say, championship count. There you go. What? No, What? 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 He got the championship count. His wife is there. I'd never seen his wife on screen.
She was there before when they were in Toronto. They showed her before.
Okay, cool. But like they made her a part of the storyline, and like she's no actress, but she loves her husband, and
Mhm.
you could see the concern on her face, and you could see her willing her husband to keep going. Man, everything about it was great.
Yeah,
It
they
was
gave her a
Sammy's
Rocky
time to
story.
shine.
They gave her a Rocky story. That's what.
They did.
Yeah,
They did. With his wife, I can't remember what her name is, but
Adrian.
she's Adrian, basically. Yeah, yeah. So why didn't you like the ending?
I didn't think Sami Zayn should have won that. And
Really?
yeah, and I felt like Michael Cole buried the main event last year also, maybe by mistake, but he mentioned that Sami Zayn's been kicking himself for failures, losing on the big stage. I'm like, dude, he won the tag team titles in the main event of WrestleMania Night 1 last year.
You
How
did.
you gonna just belittle that?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, dude, thanks, Mike. You just really just shot down the world's titles value, jerk. You
Uh,
know?
all right, so let's book the territory.
Yeah, but
You
no, no, I
got
didn't. Hold
you
up, no.
got Gunther winning, right? You got
I
Gunther
wanted
winning.
Gunther to win. I felt like Sami Zayn was the wrong person to beat him.
Who's next for Gunther then? Who does beat him and win?
I think it should be an up and comer, like up and comer that deserve like him winning that title would solidify him. I think Sami Zayn at this point is solidified. Moreover, because of that whole bloodline storyline. Like I don't think that he needed that belt for his character. I
Yeah,
felt like somebody coming up, like let's say Scott Steiner's son, somebody like that, like
Braun
maybe,
Breaker.
yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like I think it pays off better with the up and comer winning that title that's earned it more than
Well,
an already full timer that's solidified.
I don't think that you're going to see Sami Zayn hold that title very long. Sammy's probably go. I mean, first of all, he's already been the Intercontinental Champion how many times? I think twice.
That's what I said. He didn't need that rub. You get what I'm saying? It
Well,
doesn't.
it's not so much.
He didn't need it. He
There's a
didn't need
few
it.
things at play here, though. There's a few things at play here, though, Kyle.
You mean tell me LA Knight couldn't get drafted over there to the show and get the belt? I mean, he needs it. He hasn't had a
Sure.
belt yet. Matter of fact, I've been waiting because I called this before. That LA Knight's booking should have been very similar to John Cena's booking, where LA Knight wins his first belt at WrestleMania, being the U.S. title or the Intercontinental. He
Sure.
doesn't, but you know what I mean. Then like the next year, but
And something that bugs me about LA Knight too. I mean, he's like the Rock Light to me. I don't know.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, come on, dude. That's your catchphrase. I mean, it's worse than Daniel Bryan, man. At least there was like, yes, yes, yeah, there was something about that. This guy's just like, yeah, yeah.
Here's the thing: just let his character develop, man, because that's the way
How
how I'm
many
looking at it.
syllables can you make out of the word yeah? I mean,
Look, here's the thing. I look at it like this. With him, this is like one of those development characters that he's playing with, and
sure.
eventually he's going to develop into another form. So I
I
was
mean,
like,
he's
just give it time.
40, so he's just a little bit younger than me. He ain't got much time.
Look, just give it time.
He ain't got much, man. He better figure it out if he hasn't already. Here's the thing, though, and like this is inside baseball, and I love the business. I love the professional wrestling business. I've watched it since I was a kid. I've been smartened up, and I like the psychology of booking and how they figure out how things are working. And when I see somebody like Sami Zayn beating somebody like Gunther, I see two different paths that are being taken. First of all, they have to get the belt off of Gunther. Why? Because he's going to be set up for a main event push. Cody is going to need some good opponents. When you have a heel champion, you have a different psychology for booking opponents for your champion than if you have a face
So
champion.
how quick you gonna bury Gunther to Cody? See, because
You ain't gonna feed him that. I mean, you know,
See
he's
what I mean? Like I still think you need to wait because the now that you've taken Gunther off the title, he's going to be now a main eventing. Are you going to legit after you just built this massive person to basically be the jobber for Cody? Like I don't know. I don't like that.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you have to think about classic like think about like Big Van Vader
Hmm.
and Sting. Okay. You can put the championship belt on Vader. You're not going to keep him as the champion for very long.
Right.
Why?
Just like Kane, you can't keep Kane as a champion for very long
No, 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 no,
with the belt on him because
no.
solidifies him.
And there's reasons behind that. And like you can put the championship belt on Gunther, but even as a heel, Gunther's not going to Roman Reigns his reign as champion. He's not going 2 years or 3 years. Gunther would act basically as Sami Zayn is acting. He would act as a transitional champion. So maybe he does beat Cody. I doubt it because I think Cody's going to be around for a while.
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
that Cody's going to be a champion for at least a year, I think. And just
And
depends on how well he does.
that's where my problem lies because now you create a whole new problem because you have now created an amazing talent that's going to have to job the coach.
Not even, I mean, at some
I mean,
point, yes,
not
but
creating amazing talent. You created this amazing thing. Like this, basically, you gave him a big push and a big solidification, and
yeah.
then and then between what backlash, what comes after backlash? TLC, no, TLC, somewhere around like TLC, Summer. I wouldn't say SummerSlam, but somewhere
King of
around
the
that
Ring.
time frame.
Is there King of the Ring still? No, they got rid of the King of the Ring. I can't remember what they did.
I can't keep up with what's going on with King of the Ring.
I don't know. Yeah, but there's also some. There's the other side of that though. Sami Zayn's not going to keep the championship for very long.
Yeah.
He's going to be fed to a Braun Breaker or.
Which brings me back to my point. It should have been Braun Breaker that fought for the belt and won.
But they're both heels.
Did
You can do it that way.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, because we
you
just
can.
like remember last year WrestleMania we had three heels wrestling for that belt,
Sure.
and it was entertaining. Well, the
Yeah.
Sheamus, yeah, Sheamus was a heel, right? I don't.
No, he wasn't a heel.
He
And Drew
wasn't.
McIntyre wasn't a heel in that
I
match.
actually thought Drew was a heel at the time. Hmm.
Nah, Drew just recently became a heel. I think it's the first time he's ever been a heel.
All right, I'll just be honest. I never was a real big Drew McIntyre fan until he turned heel. Like
Yeah,
right
he's
now, I
great.
just became a Drew McIntyre fan. Like right
He's
now,
great. He's really good. I like this smart ass version of DM Hunk.
DM
Come on
Hunk,
down.
I'm loving it, yo, loving it.
But I think that Sammy's gonna be fed to Braun. Um and you have to remember too, like, Gunther's gonna get a rematch, probably at the next pay-per-view. Um Gunther will come out of that probably looking pretty good. Not going to win the match, but I mean, there could be it could end in like a squash. It could be some sort of a disqualification or something like that. Or somehow you protect Sami Zayn the champion, but you still get Gunther looking good and strong.
Hmm.
And then you're going to set up the path for him to get to the championship. But you don't necessarily, it's not like, oh, well, the Intercontinental Champion just lost, so now we have to feed him to Cody. Cody's got The Rock. Cody most likely, if he can get healthy, will also have CM Punk. Cody will have Drew McIntyre.
Wait, let me ask you this
Um,
question: do you think Cody gets the Rock at Backlash, or does that happen at SummerSlam?
that's more of a SummerSlam event.
But you
Um,
built this up so much now, and have the Rock so involved. if Cody wins or loses tomorrow, you have to have Cody basically going after, like, storyline wise, that would be the thing that would make sense.
Yep, yep,
Typical
yep.
WWE booking, it'd be the Cody Brock Lesnar situation of last year, would it be some left field thing that doesn't make any storyline sense?
Yeah, yeah. The Cody Brock Lesnar thing was just so weird. That's that almost seemed like a Vince thing, but I don't know if it was or not. It's
It was weird.
the little weird time period when he left and then he came back, and you weren't really sure how much he was involved in whatever. Yeah, I honestly, and this might be a conspiracy theory, but I honestly think the reason that Cody isn't the champion now is because Vince probably changed Paul's plan with the championship match and, kept Roman Reigns as the champion for whatever reason. Probably just to punish Cody for being in AEW and all that shit, because that's the kind of thing that McMahon liked to do. He liked to, dress up people in polka dots and make them look like an asshole. I mean, that's what he did to Sting. He fed
Um,
Sting to Brock Lesnar, and then Lesnar just pulverized him. Sting wanted to come into the WWE to face The Undertaker, and it never
yeah,
happened.
man, Sting's run in WWE was the biggest fumble ever.
It was the worst idea that he ever did. And it's sad because it could have been great. And it just wasn't. It just I don't know, man. And like, look, I'm not gonna say, and I don't want to get too into deep waters here because it's fucking WrestleMania weekend and we're having a good time. So I don't want to get too murky, but I'm not gonna say that Vince McMahon was not creative as hell, and he probably single-handedly orchestrated a lot of the events and memories that you and I both share from growing up.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that he's not a disgusting and deplorable human being.
That's very true.
And it certainly doesn't mean that just because he was good then doesn't mean that he was continuing to be good now. I mean, the man is 78 years old.
Right.
Probably should have retired 10 years ago, but didn't.
I agree.
Yeah.
I,
And I,
I, I thought Vince should have retired. I thought Vince should have retired during John Cena's run, that whole undefeated streak run, when he
sure.
was like unpinned for God knows how long. I was like, dude, I think Vince needs to go.
Yeah. And it just, I mean, again, I don't want to get into all of the weeds of the lawsuit and all that kind of stuff. We could definitely do a blog on that, and we could definitely talk about it someday because I think that would be an interesting conversation to have. And I've listened to a lot of different people talking about the whole Vince McMahon stuff, so I mean, I'm up on top of it. But I'm going to tell you this: this was the first WrestleMania that I have been really looking forward to watching,
Hmm.
and so far, night one, it's the most fun I've had watching a wrestling event in a long
Yes,
time.
all the way down to the main event, because I really had a feeling that that main event was going to be good or bad. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because I didn't know whether, because of the Rock's ring rust, how that was going to look. I was scared one of the, the Seth has his world title. I didn't want him to get hurt. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it was cold. And if you've ever played any sports in the cold, it does things to your muscles. So yeah, you can get hurt.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
was my biggest thing, was I want them to have a good match. I don't want nobody to legit get hurt, especially because everybody but The Rock had a match tomorrow, which
yeah,
kind of made me think Cody and Seth were going to win, because The Rock could have been the person that could have jobbed, which could have saved Roman from a pin, that could have saved Seth from a pin, that could have saved Cody from a pin. Like, I was
yeah.
like, The Rock being pinned would have made logical sense to
It
keep
would
everybody
have,
strong. And it
but
could have been
yeah, I
Cody
mean,
pinning The Rock to
the
make
way they
Cody
did
look
it,
legit stronger facing Roman. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
because that's the final boss. Oh crap! I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a problem. Like, but you had, like, my just a dominant tag team. Like, let's just
Yes,
Roman
they were
Reigns
fucking
and
tough,
The
man. That
Rock.
was a great match. And
There gotta be
I
a
was probably 95% sure that Roman and Rock were going to win. It's what I wanted.
yeah. I mean, realistically, nobody was going to beat that tag team on the WWE roster today. Nobody was.
No, no, no.
But
But not only that, but like I wanted Roman and Rock to win, and I'm a
I
Cody fan.
did I did too,
Why?
but I didn't want either Cody or you know what I mean. It didn't make sense for
Well, I
either.
didn't want anybody to be hurt, of course,
No, no,
but
I didn't want
why do I
anybody to
want
get pinned.
Rock to win?
Like
Why do I want Roman and Rock to win?
I didn't
Because
want
it's
the challenger. But here's the thing: I didn't want the challenger for the for the title getting pinned. You get what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
he just won the Royal Rumble. He's supposed to come in looking strong, and he just got pinned. Like I didn't want that, or I didn't want
Well,
the world
yeah,
champ. You know what I mean? Or I didn't want the heavyweight champ who's about to wrestle for his belt tomorrow to
yeah.
get pinned because now he looks weak. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
was like,
but Cody doesn't look weak. Cody looked bested. He did not look weak. The odds were stacked against him. And because of that, now the odds are going to be stacked against him even more tomorrow. And that's what they're setting up. What you're going to see tomorrow, I can almost guarantee you. You know, I don't know. I'm not Paul Levesque. My name's not Triple H. I'm not the game. I don't spit water into the air for no apparent reason. So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But if I were to guess, if I were booking it, I want everything to look stacked against my baby face heir apparent champion. Because then when you are almost sure that Cody's going to lose and he comes up on top, defies the odds, you have another Hulk Hogan. You have another Ricky Steamboat. You have another Sting. Why did people love Sting so much? It wasn't necessarily because he was all that athletic. I mean, he was good. He was good in the ring. He was very. The best part about Sting, though, was his heart. Didn't
yeah,
matter how many beatings that dude took, he would come back and he would be stronger. Hulk Hogan the same way. Fuck Hulk Hogan as a human being, by the way. Obviously, the five commandments of Hulk Hogan are training, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, believe in yourself, and be a fucking racist. Um, but Hogan was really good at fighting from underneath. WrestleMania 3, Andre the Giant, he goes to lift him and he can't. Dude falls on top of him. Looks like Hogan gets his fucking back broken. And he comes back from who knows where. Big boot slams Andre, leg drop, 1, 2, 3, and Hogan fucking poses because Hogan's got to pose. Well, you know something. No,
oh,
Cody Rhodes, it's interesting because like I did not like Cody for the longest time. I hated him in AEW because it's everything is so telegraphed with him. He's always got to go for this big, huge story. You know, it's just like, wow, man. His matches are usually too long. There's too many comebacks. It's like, we get it, Cody. We understand, man. And, you know, the worst thing that Cody can do is book himself. With a good, competent booker, Cody looks like $1,000,000.
yeah.
And Cody and Paul Levesque, man, I guarantee you, he's 38, he's 39 maybe. He's got at least 10 years, if not more, if he stays healthy.
Make him the face of the company.
You're going to make him the face of the company. He's going to be wearing that belt for the next couple of years, probably.
Vince would destroy everything.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, and if Vince would have created Cody and Cody
He
had
tried to
stayed,
create Cody. He did.
but he did. He came up with some ideas, which were all horrible.
No,
Dashing
well,
Cody.
no, no, no. When he had him team with Bob Holly, I actually thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was good to have him with Bob Holly. because Bob Holly was a solid ring worker. Um,
You talk about somebody who was really fucking stiff, man. Bob Holly. Everybody I've ever heard shoot on Bob Holly has told me, has said that that dude works stiff.
yeah,
He will hurt you.
yeah,
Not being mean, he's just a stiff worker. That's just how he works. It's like
yeah,
the Nasty Boys,
yeah,
Sags and Knobs. They were fucking they hit hard, and that's how they worked.
yeah. But I like,
Leon
I
Vader was
did,
the same way.
yeah. But I did like Cody with him. Um, I didn't like the Dazzler, but well, here's a weird thing. I low key like the whole
Dashing Cody Rose.
not, Dash and Cody Rhodes was weird. That
Yeah,
was weird. I hated that.
yeah.
Actually, I hated it, but it was cool. I hated it though. But but no, when he when Stardust, the
Start.
whole I don't think it's weird how fans hated it, how he hated it. But if you go back and look at it, wait a minute, they were kind of onto something, but they were about to set him up down the Gold Dust road where he would never get a world belt.
Yeah, it worked for Gold Dust, but it would be like it would be like taking Reed Flair and trying to make him like the next Nature Boy. You
Yeah.
know, you can't. You got to let everybody find their own voice. And that's why I never liked the Stardust characters because it was just Gold Dust light. It was just like, oh, let's just do more Gold Dust, but let's do it with his brother. And he'll be
No,
Stardust.
I like his movements in the ring, and the
Sure. Yeah.
intro music was
And he
flames.
still does the cartwheel every now and
Yeah,
again.
the
Yeah.
intro was flames too.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta get going, man. I didn't even tell you this, but I've been under the weather and my throat's starting to bother me
Oh
talking.
man, I'm sorry. Uh,
Was there anything else that you wanted to
let's just
ask
close
me?
out.
Or
Let's close out about the main event.
let's
Um,
talk about it. Yeah.
um, I thought I was surprised about how good that match went because I thought it was going to be a disaster.
Really?
Really
With
thought.
those talents involved?
I don't know why I thought The Rock was going to be the problem. I thought The Rock was going to take away from the match,
Wow. Okay.
like
Yeah.
being winded or whatever like that, or ring rust.
Yeah.
Because remember the John Cena Rock, the first match, it was like you could tell he was stiff. He wasn't fluid as he used to be. This Rock, I want to see more of him.
He's huge.
Yeah, I want to see
He
more.
dwarfed Cody, and Cody's not a small dude, but I
Yeah.
mean, The Rock, he probably in the best shape of his life.
If we could get at least 2 more years of The Rock on TV, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, 'cause this I'm happy about. I want to see more of how this final boss
I
character.
want to see him transfer into an actual authority figure. I think that would be great. Like set up, maybe get Triple H on screen, not in a wrestling capacity because we don't want to kill the man.
Yeah,
But like sort of like he's the boss, but Dwayne's on the board, and now there's some shit going on, and it'll be interesting to see
like
what happens there. Maybe Trips and the Rock can like have representatives face each other in the ring, or something like that, kind of what they did with like Trump and McMahon.
no, 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 no. It's gonna be more like McMahon and Flair.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
hear me out. So eventually it's gonna come down to Triple H is gonna own a brand and The Rock is gonna own a brand.
yeah, could be.
And NXT is basically like just use college football for example. That's gonna be the drafting pool where they're gonna have to pull from.
Yeah,
But you still have your GMs of the thing. But so basically, you got the top two, like the owners of the team,
yeah,
and
yeah.
GMs. I got that being real fun, especially because you can see how Triple H would be more so as the owner versus how The Rock would be as the owner, and
Yeah, yeah.
and like we just saw how The Rock abuses power.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was
So
great. It was
yeah,
perfect.
I
He,
think
he
I think
was
I think I
so
think it's pretty
he
cool.
was so good as the heel. The whole final boss thing, man. I've been digging it as a video game fan.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Like, man, it's like you're playing Elden Ring. You know.
yeah, man. All right, let's get out of here.
Let's do it, dude, man.
Yeah,
Have
that's
you
good.
smelled what Dr. Kyle is cooking?
All right, my dude. Peace.